Now that we have all our parts made and on shape, what we need to do is create something called an assembly. And that's what we're going to put everything together that's going to kind of act as our answer key for our puzzle cube. Down the road, you might forget how this thing goes together, but you'll have a way of showing it to people or for yourself. So I'm going to choose one part. So I'm going to start off with this white part here. And I want to choose a second part that's touching the white part. So for me, this brown one right here seems like it should work out because I've got lots of points of contact. Okay. So in Onshape, you might have noticed that on the bottom of the screen, these tabs, we had one called Assembly. So I'm going to click on that tab. I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to grab the white part. So I just click here, and then I click anywhere on the screen. And I'm going to grab my brown part. And again, just click anywhere on the screen. We're going to work with just those two at first. So we'll confirm. So the hardest part about this is the pieces don't always come in the exact same way that they are lined up in the real world. So what we want to do is be able to kind of maneuver these around so that we can make them look as close to the real world as possible. So for me, looking at my white piece, I can see I've got the T with that one side, the little bump going down there. So that actually, this white piece looks good, but where the brown piece is, it needs to be adjusted, okay? So I have to rotate it down and then turn it. So what I'm gonna do is if I click on any face of this thing, it gives me this control where I can rotate or move the part. So the first thing I wanna do is rotate it down in this case. And what you can do is you grab this little circle here and it allows you to rotate it. Now what I'd recommend doing is always rotate things 90 degrees. So I'm going to type in 90 and then hit enter and I can click away. Okay, so that's getting a little bit better. So I need to rotate this thing around because this little bump out, this piece right here, is actually supposed to slide right under that for my part. Okay, so I'll click on this face. I can grab this circle and I can literally rotate it 90 and then 180. All right, I'm going to type in 180 so I get exact right number. All right, so that's looking better, but I need to turn it so it fits in there. Okay, so I click on the top and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, 90. Click away. Now I've got the piece set up exactly the way it's supposed to be when I move it into place. Okay. So if I click on either one of them, they both just move independently. So what we need to do is mate these together. So I'm going to use my mate tool right here. Click on it. And I'm going to click two faces that are touching each other so that they end up being stuck to each other. So what I'll do here is I'm going to hover over the end of this piece. And you'll see the circle appears with the red, blue, and green line. That's going to be important because you notice as I move my arrow, it goes around and chooses different parts, different spots. And if I go and choose a different face, you can see that circle turns. So that's going to be important to make sure you have the correct ones chosen. So I'm going to go to the middle, hover over this midpoint here, making sure the circle doesn't turn, click. And then I'm going to go to the end of this one, do the same thing, but instead of choosing this side, I'm choosing this side because that's the side that's going to touch the other one. So what I like to do is I hover over in the middle and I get close to that dot without even getting to it, and then I click. And what should happen is it'll move the part in place. Sometimes it'll move it in place, but it needs to be turned 90 degrees. So in that case, we can use this tool here, which allows it to rotate about that point. Okay. Now mine was correct the first time, but if yours ends up flipping and it looks maybe something like this, you just click this and it should rotate until it locks in place and it gets it right fit. So I confirm that. I'm going to close out my fasten. And now what I'm going to do is look for my next part. All right, so I've got the white and the brown one. Let's see out here, I have this green one in the face. Maybe I can bring that one in and start with that next. Okay, so I go up to Insert, choose my green one, click anywhere out here and confirm the sketch. Alright, so if I look at the way the green one came in, I can see I need to turn it because it needs to be sitting like this. So I need to rotate that thing so that it sits the correct direction. So I'm going to click the end, grab this, rotate it 90 degrees. And in this case, that's all I need to do. I actually have it rotated one time and it's the right position. So what part's going to touch what part? So I could choose this corner, which is going to be lined up with this. I could choose this corner, which would be lined up with this. Or I could choose the end here lined up with that. So it doesn't really matter which one as long as there are two corners that are going to be touching. So I grab my fasten constraint, hover over the middle, move close to the corner, but remember I don't go to the corner because a lot of times it'll flip. So I hover over the middle, get close to the corner and click. Hover over the middle, get close to the corner and click. And it snaps right in place. Confirm. Alright, so how about the one that goes between that? Alright, for me, that ends up being the black piece actually sits in between there and it does that. So let's grab the black piece. So we'll go to Insert, Black, place it anywhere, confirm the sketch, and then we're going to go ahead and rotate it. So I can see I need to rotate it so it's standing up. So I'm going to click on the part, grab the correct one, and rotate it 90 degrees. So that looks pretty good, but I have to also rotate it this direction to fit that slot there. So I'm going to grab this, rotate it 90 degrees. Now that's the correct piece to fit right there. Okay. So grab my make constraint. I'm going to click this corner here and this corner here. So I'm going to hover over, click that corner, hover over the middle section here, get close to the corner and click. Okay. Then I'll confirm. Sometimes the part might jump out like this. That's okay. Just hit confirm and it all joins back together. Now it looks like I'm done. Looks beautiful. And then I rotate it around and realize I'm missing one piece still. So let's go back to Insert. Grab my yellow part, bring it out here, click, confirm. Take a look at it. Alright, I need to position that thing so that this top little nub, the cube, fits right in there and then the bottom square fits in the bottom. Alright. So I'm going to rotate this part, click, and rotate 90 degrees. And then I'm going to also rotate this part. And it looks like if I look at it from the top, I have to rotate 180 degrees. So it goes all the way around just like that. So 180, enter. That looks pretty good. So now that part's going to be able to fit right in there into that space. So I grab my make constraint. And I'm going to choose this corner here and this corner here. Okay? You could choose this corner there and that corner, just as long as they're the ones that match up. So I'm going to hover over the middle, get close to the corner, and click. Hover over the middle, get close to the corner, and click. Confirm. And now I've got that part joined up, and I have my completed puzzle cube. Okay. So this is nice because you can use this as a way to remember down the road how to put your puzzle cube back together, but it also gives us a nice image of what your completed puzzle cube looks like.